All of these plants here grow together, so that means that they all benefit each other. Medicine Bushman. I am a student of the world, and each day I sit front seat in artists of totality, both visual and sweetgrass basketry. Jalen Gordon first, a Gullah Griot with many hidden stories that are just starting to reveal itself for others. His connection with the plants infinite, given to him by elders, the ancestors, and spirit. Gullah roots led and inspired mainly by his mother, would learn the plants from her mother and other elders in the community. Father would taught him about secret paths and how to trek and hunt on the terrain. And grandmothers would carry the ancient words and cultural traditions on their backs. He is now the only surviving member in his family that still carries the ancient tradition of basket sewing and collecting native medicine. He keeps the culture humbly, being a teacher's pet student of the world, listening to the wind what guides his notion to discover new plants, observing the harvest season and observing the moon what helps him determine a season. Being the light what aid healing to the nation. The energy that it needs, and which is relieving you of pain, relieving you of inflammation.
Hi, I have a special guest today, Jalen Gordon, and I'm very honored to be in your presence. So thank you for your time and your energy. Thank you for taking us out today. So Jalen is a medicine man. That's how I guess I think about you, because you have this amazing connection with plants. And I thought it would be wonderful for you to get to know him and to get to know his connection with plants, because I think it's really inspiring. So Jalen Gordon, and you're from Orangeburg?
Yes, Orangeburg, South Carolina. I was raised in Bamberg for a little bit. The earlier part of my life I was raised in the low country of Bamberg, and so we have a lot of open fields as well as Orangeburg. So what we would also do is during the summertime and springtime, when we were off to school, we would go out to the forest. We would look for blueberries, we would look for blackberries, we would look for maypop. So I would go, I'll have my brother with me, and we would have at least 15 of our other cousins with us. They'll follow us. We would do that, and at that time we weren't afraid of anything. Not at all. It started from that, and then my dad, when he was younger, he would take us through trails to go like to corner stores or so, like to get something to eat, like snacks or whatever. But we would always take a shortcut. We never took the way about like the roads. We never see the roadside. We always go through like different cuts with water paths and everything. So I always knew how to trek the field. Always knew how to, find water, knew how to find plants. So that was one way I learned as well. Then when my grandma got sick after her husband passed, my mom became the home health care. She began her caretaking. Her doing that, she'd be able to spend more time with my grandmother. She was able to learn of different ways of how they took care of themselves in the older times. So she took care of my grandmother for at least 10 plus years. And after my grandmother passed, that's when she went out and she started to take care of other elders throughout the Orangeburg County, even extended to Denmark as well. And she'd be out there, Denmark, St. Matthews, but she would go out and she would take care of the elders, and they just loved her so much. They started to become very open with her. We tell her of how they would take care of themselves when there weren't any doctors available, or if it was a financial problem, they couldn't afford it. So that's how I would learn how to cure myself with sassafras if I need it, or other plants like the life everlasting. The words would be called yellow dock, curly dock. Now, I like to address it this way because the names are interchangeable. So I call the leaves curly dock and the root yellow dock.
Oh.
But it's the same. You don't have to.
Okay.
But this is what I call it. So that's how I started out learning through them. Shimon would come home every day and she would tell me certain phrases. Because see, what I know for the English words of plants will be different in our culture. Like the persimmon. You know, we call cinnamon a persimmon. Or like the life everlasting, the sassafras. I learned those terms. I learned those medicinal properties from her. To her, she would just get excited because she liked to be around the elders. It reminded her of being with her mother and her dad, my granddad. So too, I benefited from that because she was more willing to sit down and listen to it. She thought that as a child, it just went in one ear out the other. But I always kept it sacred. I always remembered it. So when I too got sick in 2017, I got sick, October 2017. And I went back home 2 years after. When I returned back to South Carolina, I started to look at the plants. And the more I would go out, I like to walk, so the more I would go out to clear my mind, I would see these plants waving, you know, when the wind would blow it. It would kind of bring themselves to my attention. Now that I've listened, I know how to use these plants.
You said that you were using up to now 55 plants, and these woods, I think that is amazing. And you use predominantly native plant medicine.
Yes, native plant medicine. I've learned that there's no such thing as only one type of plant existing in one area. That may be true of their origin, but if there's a plant in this region right here, then there's a cousin to it. We have the similar properties, if not the exact same, and they'll be in other parts of the world. So like the Konkasa, for example, which is in Africa, we have its cousin here, the black willow, and they give you the same or a similar property, being it helps alleviate headaches. It helps alleviate swelling as well and pain, just like the red willow, the Konkasa. So there's no such thing as just that one species being in one area. I believe that the Most High he spreads it about in all of the areas, so that way all of his children can have and reap the benefits from it.
It seems like the most powerful herbs are the ones that there is like a brother or sister in another country, like the willow, you know?
And I love to layer flavors and medicinal properties. If they're in the same family, I know they're not going to be harmful. Or if they do have a dosage, let's say for example the dosage is only 6 cups per day, or 6 cups for the teacher, I'll divide it. So I'll get maybe like 3 cups from this species, 3 cups from that species. So that way I'm still in the rule of dosage, but I'm getting different medicinal properties. They're all the same sort per se, but they have different potency, and they also have different side effects and different parts of the tree can be used. So like I told you before, the black willow, you can use the leaves and chew it for child labor pain. You can do that right there. While the white willow is mostly known for the bark, but it's all the same. They're all in the same family, so it all can be used. So let's say you use the black willow's leaves, but the white willow's bark. It's still okay to use. It's not gonna have to give you a bad effect because they're all in the same family, so they'll get along.
Once you start working with the herb, do you feel like you get to know it better and better, and it starts to reveal more to you over time?
Yes, that's how I'll know, like in certain seasons, I can make a stronger tincture, and then when it's not as strong, I can just use even the flowers. You can use some of the flowers in the springtime.
That's cool. I like that you think about the seasons.
But you have to catch it because a lot of things have like a 3-month or sometimes even a 3-week rule. The flowers can be like even a 1 to 2 week rule. So you have to catch it because once they drop, they're gone. And when you have a lot of heavy wind and rain, it's gonna knock the flowers off even faster. Which is why sadly I wasn't able to get a lot of peach flowers like I wanted. I got a good amount. I wasn't able to get a lot. Everything has a season and everything must be treated with care. and value, because you have to wait a whole nother season.
Yeah, I love how you were giving gratitude to the plants, you know?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because it saved a lot of my life. You know, I was very much in pain. And even like I didn't have any clarity in this. So a lot of it promote clarity. When you have a clear brain, you don't have headaches, you can have so much clarity. But when you have headaches, your mind's gonna be bald. I learned that when you also have stomach pain, it too messes with your brain as well. So we have a second brain, if you will, in our belly.
Yeah.
So understanding the body and what it's for, what it do, can really help you learn how to channel these herbs. Because they can all be used and manipulated in tons of ways. For good purposes, which I do, and then for other ones as well. But the more people become educated or re-educate themselves about plants, the more that we will have more oxygen in this world. Because there won't be a lot of tearing down of trees. You'll realize that a lot of trees, certain trees have certain, importance to our life, to our livelihood. I had a friend who lives in Ghana. Well, she's born in Ghana, but she's from New York, named Jessica. But she came here, and she just stopped, and she just smelled. She just kept doing that. And she just stopped and meditating on the air and the sun, because they don't have that where she's at. She lives in New York, concrete jungle. But it's funny that it's concrete jungle and there's no jungle. No trees, but you concrete jungle. But they're dying mentally, spiritually even. Glad they're not dying physically, but as fast at least. But not having that access to the oxygen, the trees, and not getting a lot of sunlight. A lot of places in the north, a lot of them are more depressed because they don't have the sun to recharge them. So I'm blessed to have both. We all have both. We live in South Carolina, which is good. But this is how you learn the importance. And when you teach that, you can probably help save people. Because more when you know, you can't. Once you know and it's inside of your head, you can't let that go. You're gonna remember that, and you can be more prone to do the right thing, which is saving this earth and the people in it and the plants.
Yeah, right. Thank you for that.
Itself. So my book is centered around Orangeburg, South Carolina, but it's a controversial sci-fi novel about a high school teenager who is coming from Brixton, London. His mother is Gullah, so the reason why they're even here or there is because of his father, who is in the service. Like my dad, he was in the National Guard, so I kind of centered some of that around what I knew. And he has to come to America after the passing of his father at age 14. My father passed at age 14. So I get to weave a lot of truth into my fiction. And with that, he learns about America. He's a black a black teenager. He learns about America, and he learns about all of the secrets. So he's getting the American experience firsthand. And what the slogan would be said is the American dream. Yes, it's a dream, but for him it's a nightmare. He's learning about all of the dark past about America, and he lives on this one region that's cloaked from society. So it's in a made-up area, right in the center of New Orleans and South Carolina. I see a lot of my inbox be full with grace, love, and just encouragement, and it's a lot of times from the youth, my age, or younger than me. And it'll be the elders too who wants to learn about things that their parents once taught them and they didn't, they didn't pick up on, and now they want to reconnect, and I think that's fine as well, because within that they can learn and teach their children or the grandchildren, and then the one unborn, they can pass that knowledge to them. But I see a lot of children starting to become aware of that, and that's very good, and that can probably save us, because we have a lot of processed foods that are giving children diabetes, heart attack, and traditionally a heart attack, you look at that at a certain age range, but now it's just, there's no age range, anyone can get it. And because children are becoming more aware, and we are tech savvy now, we get to see people go online and live on the land, and that interests them, and they don't mind asking questions, because the worst thing you'll get is no. What I learned from is, like, if I have a question, I'll ask it, because asking a question, it can't kill me, and that's how they believe that. That's how they think, and that's what I love. So yes, it's very much becoming a thing to children now, and which will kind of, redirect us into the path that we was once in.
Yeah, that's medicine. I want to ask you one more question, because I feel like we're taking up so much of your time, and I don't want to take up any more, because I know time is precious. But has it been hard for you being a medicine man in America?
Yes, and again, I'll have to be a little honest. In the area that I'm at, in the suburbs, or I guess would be considered the suburbs, when they look at me, they'll often think that I'm trying to break into the homes, or trying to do, trying to steal in their areas, but that's not the case. I'm literally on a territory that don't belong to no one, and I'm going to get the herbs that people are just neglecting. So a lot of times I'll see contractors work on a certain spot, and then if they see me right there, they'll run that spot right over, and they will never do anything with it. But because they see me, they'll do it in spite. And it's very sad when these are the herbs that can help save people's life, especially when it's compared and when it's combined with other ones. Literally plants that can stop you from dying. Like my son, when he was unresponsive at the time, we was able to take him to the doctor. They found out that in the hospital, they found out what was wrong, and from that point, I ran right down to the woods, and I was able to get a few herbs that were antimicrobial, antifungus, antiseptic, and I brought it to him that night. And the next morning, fever went down. The bacteria, it didn't stop. It stopped growing. And when they kept trying it, for testing, it never grew. And I got so upset prior to that I was about to stop. Doing what I was doing. And then look at that, my son got sick, and then that brought me back to that. It's like, if he was to ever get sick and you was to stop, how could you be able to help him? I do this for everyone, but my children, my son, my wife, my mother, especially, I like that they benefit from it. So I'll definitely keep going. And I just wish that America wasn't as ignorant to plant life and the people who studies it. I wish they wasn't as ignorant to that, because in other countries, it's praised. That's the first thing they go to before they even entertain the idea of medicine from hospitals, Western medicine. So I wish that I wasn't looked at, for creed, color, or whatever that would be. I wish people would just understand, oh, he's just out here picking this, And I'm blessed to say that some will ask me, what are you doing? And then that's a time of teaching and enlightening. And then they'll ask for my information or so, and then look at that. You have a friend or one that's going to support you. So, for the most part, it can be very challenging, but when some moments like that happen, it makes it all worth it.
Well, I'm super grateful for your time today, and for you. I feel like you carry like a seed. Like, you give me hope. Like, that's how I feel. Like, you give me hope for humanity because you're a medicine man, you know, holding it down in America, doing your thing with all these native plants and working with the medicine that your ancestors taught you and or your, you know, passed down through your ancestors, and it's amazing and it's such a beautiful thing. So I'm very grateful. Oh,
Likewise. I enjoy what you do because I learn too from you as well.
It's so blessed to meet you, and definitely. So how can we find you?
So
how can they find you?
I'm on Facebook, you know, as Jalen Gordon, but majority of my work is on Instagram, and that's Jayism, JAYYIZM. And you can find me talking about plants to my basketry, you know, even the art. You'll find me there, and I'll go into the forest every single day in the morning. Like, that's my sanctuary. That's my church even. I'm the only member there for the most part, outside of the squirrels and everything, but they all have their ways of talking and being here now. So
yes, well,
you
thank
can find
you.
me there.
All right, thank you, Jalen Gordon, so much for your time, your energy, for keeping this knowledge alive. You're a natural born teacher. Can't wait to be in your presence again. Definitely, you should go follow him, and I'll put his Instagram name in the video. And if you love this video, hit subscribe, leave us a comment, hit like, and again, definitely go follow Jalen because he's always sharing awesome stuff on his Instagram page. All right, be well, plant friend.